someone that you may never have met before. Who's meeting Marcus for the first time tonight? Wow, almost a whole room full of new people to meet. So, welcome. Hi, come on. No, that's okay. So, it's interesting, when I was writing the invitation to this event, I wrote it a number of times and rewrote it a number of times. Because what I wanted to say was, guys, it's just really interesting, you should really come. He's a great guy. But usually that's not enough to get people to come and do something different and unusual. So then I needed to bring in different ways. And sometimes I was writing with the science at the front, and sometimes I was writing with Marcus at the front, and then I realized it's so close to the World Biodanza Day, which is the day of Rolando's birthday, who started Biodanza back in the 60s. And Marcus will talk a little bit about, how some of his work came out of the relationship with Rolando and Biodanza and all of this. And then I started to write that it's a celebration of World Biodanza Day. So there's been this morphing to this invitation. So thank you for receiving the invitation, regardless of how it came to you. Yeah, whether it was the science, Marcus, me just saying come because it's going to be great, the cake.
The cake.
Whatever brought you.
The break or the cake.
It's wonderful that you're here. Thank you for coming. And I consider it to be a special occasion that you're in Australia again, Marcus. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kate and Claudio, for inviting me. Thank you. And you for coming. Thank you.
Yeah. So I won't say much more, but I think I pass it over to you. And, it's just wonderful our relationship is maybe 15 years, 16
Longer.
years,
2000,
20? Okay.
2000 we met us in Africa.
We met in 2000 in South Africa. Yeah. Okay, so now we're
Since
really
then.
Giving our age away. We both looked exactly the same then.
They say his name, maybe, yes. And also maybe how long he is in Biodanza, how long he does Biodanza. Yeah. To the day today, I think Rolando would be very happy to listen to you in Australia, because when Kate came here, there was not much Biodanza, and now this movement is growing. Yes, and that's why this kind of events are very important, to meet, to talk, to dance together, to eat a cake together. Yes, I'm also looking forward to eat a cake. Yes. First, we have to work. Okay, maybe you can start. Maybe, yeah.
Yep. So I'm Jemima, and the length of time I've been doing Biodanza, I've been doing Biodanza, I think, for maybe about 6 years.
Okay.
Yep.
Mm.
My name's Emma. I've also been doing Biodanza for about 6 years.
Oh, good.
I'm Cinta. I'm doing Biodanza maybe 1.5 years, I guess, since Braden was there. Yeah.
I'm Michelle, and I've been doing Biodanza less than a year.
Oh. Wendy,
Wendy.
long time you do Biodanza, no?
6 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 6 years.
Like this group?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not with them.
Mm.
Not with them. We went to the retreat in Stanwell Tops, out here.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, that was
Govinda,
it.
that was
No, we met us there. Yes, I know. Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, nice to see you again, Wendy.
Good to see you.
I'm Martha. I started about 6 years ago, but I've had quite a few breaks in between, and I've been back for a term now. Yeah.
And longer, Mum, because I've been doing it.
Oh yeah, I introduced her.
7 years.
Yeah, about 7 years.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was pretty full on first of all, and then I just dropped down for various reasons. Yeah.
See, it's
And
it's normal.
my daughter Julie.
Ah,
Julia?
you're the daughter, really? Daughter and mother. That's wonderful. Yes.
About 7 years for me.
Okay. You brought your mama to Biodanza.
No, Mum introduced me,
Ah.
and then I brought Mum back.
Okay.
At Ricardo, about 10 weeks.
Oh, okay. And you like Biodanza?
I do.
Okay. Yeah. You do with Kate, yeah? Good. You have a good teacher. And Claudio, yeah? Mm.
Hi, I'm Cara. I started last year, but I've had a big break.
Okay.
So I went out of Canberra, came back to Canberra, had to catch up on work and various other reasons, but
Mm.
it's my first day back. So.
Okay.
I'm Wendy, and I've been doing Biodanza a bit less than a year.
Since when?
since last year, so
Ah,
it's not
okay.
a year yet.
Okay, yeah.
My name's Adrienne and I've been doing Biodanza for roughly a term.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Sina and I've been doing Biodanza for about 3 years.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, my name is Chris. I've been doing Biodanza for about a year.
Hi, I'm Jay. I've only been to one class.
One class you did. Okay.
Yeah.
And you came back. That's a good sign, yes.
I am doing my first class about.
Oh, really? Be careful, you. Don't worry.
And my name is Antonia. I was introduced to Biodanza in 2017, but had a couple of years
Not.
break. That's it.
Well, I think we all know the effects of Biodanza, and we all know to come home when we do Biodanza, like to feel free, maybe, yes, maybe to be together with other people and to enjoy this caress or to behold, yes, and I will show you some maybe movies, yes, about some activities in Biodanza which you might not know, yes. One is where I have our school, yes, Kate was there one day. It's in Letonia, it's in Latvia, yes, in English. It's on the Russian border. So in this moment we have the war in Ukraine, yes, this terrible war, which we in Europe experience maybe different than you here in Australia. For us is a big threat, yes. And these people have fears there, they have anxieties because Putin is a terrible regime there and very, very dangerous, yes. And the Biodanza has there a big function because we always say that the fears is something which is in the future or in the past, yes, but not in the moment, yes. And Biodanza works with the moment, brings people back in the moment to feel what is here and now, yes. And for them there in this moment, Biodanza is an important anchor to have something in their life where they can feel safe. Yeah? So a big thing about Biodanza is safetiness. Yeah? And I will show you first a little introduction, and I leave these movies also with Kate. So maybe Kate wants to put it in a web page because it's an introduction about Biodanza, a beautiful movie. And just look 1 minute in the movie, yes. Sorry. So this is maybe a little, which feelings did you have when you saw this movie? Which feelings were like coming up?
Like, for me, it was something known, like, I don't know, is that a feeling?
Mhm.
Like reassurance?
Reassurance.
Like, there was connection.
Connection. Ah, feeling of connection. That's very good. Beautiful. Beautiful. Wendy?
It's very peaceful.
Peaceful. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Somebody else? Freedom. Okay. Yeah, the peace is something which we can be aware within us. Yeah, for instance, the title of our summer camp this year in Latvia is to be aware about the peace in us. Yes, to find the peace in us, because there it starts. And if you talk about biocentric approach, we talk only about the relationship, the connection to myself, firstly. Yeah, that I can be aware about my inner natural space. Okay, there are some people, intelligent people, yes, who work all the time with their studies and thinking, yes, who say that we are not separate from nature. We are nature, yes, and so even the human now is doing a lot of not good things. Yes, we are always connected. Yeah, but we are not conscious about, okay, about what we are doing, yes? And Rolando Toro, because this is the day of Biodanza, yes, of his birthday, I brought another movie where you can see Rolando Toro. Who has seen Rolando Toro in a movie or maybe in person? Yes, you saw? Okay. You saw, of course, in person. You want to say something about Rolando? What impressed you when you saw him? Yeah. No,
A little story, one little story. In our training of didactic to learn how to facilitate for Biodanza, it was the afternoon of the second or third day. We were in Brazil, everyone was a bit tired, and there was going to be an afternoon lecture. And Rolando's wife stood up to start the lecture, and she began to give the lecture, and then in the middle of the lecture, we heard this, "I'm not dead yet. I'm not tired. I don't need to sleep. I'm ready to teach." And he came and arrested, and he was 82 at that time. So he had a lot of energy. He had a lot of energy, and a lot of life, and a lot of passion, intellectual, physical, I think on every level. And so it's one little story about him, but you know there are many. But this one,
why do you think he had so much energy?
he was very animated with life.
Mm-hmm.
He was very, he was awake to the wonder of life. He was awake. He had energy inside of him that was active. That was his motivation. Yeah, I feel like there were not a lot of barriers. You know, he didn't use his intellect to put barriers and reasons and fears.
He lived intense the life. He always emphasized intensity, how we should live life. Yes, and he always said we can have every feeling. Thank you, Kate. We can have every feeling what we experience, sadness or fears or whatever. Yes, but we have to express it intense. Okay, in the here and now. Yes, so every feeling what we experience is connected with liveliness. Yes, with intensity, liveliness. Okay, it means that a feeling is life. Okay, so we give to a feeling a place. Yes, and we in the West, I was many years professor of psychology in university teaching, and there is this separation of positive and negative emotion. Yes, and we don't like this classification. Yes, so one time, for instance, Rolando said to me, boy, look behind the classifications. Okay, look behind what is behind our mind. What is the essence of the being? Yes, what is the life behind this mental construction? And there we are. Yes, we are in the biocentric principle of Rolando Toro. Yes, and in the biocentric education. Yes, where Rolando Toro said. The tool how we can connect with life is the vivencia, the experience in the here and now, okay, the presence with ourselves, with each other. Yes. So for instance, I came not in and said, "Oh, I will talk to you." I ask you first, what's your name, how long you are. So the interaction in the present for him was very important because he said. I only know who I am. Maybe I never know who I am because it changes all the time. Yes, but I get a sense of the event, who I am in the moment. Yes, by interaction with the other. This is what he was expressing, and I will show you a little bit Rolando Toro in our first study because I knew Rolando Toro in 1998. When I went to a high mountain in Argentina, and I got to know Biodanza, and then we went to his house in Chile, and we were asking if he's interested to do a study about Biodanza, because I come from this background. I wrote 2 PhD, and so I learned the science from the beginning until the end. Okay, so and this is an art which I want to use to understand some backgrounds of Biodanza, not for the people who dance, because you experience it, but for the people who are in universities, institutions, work with children, with patients and so on. But also for us, it's a good thing to understand certain mechanisms, because when we get teacher, for instance, it influences our teaching. Yes, so the reflection about what's going on, yes, is a very important way to become conscious, yes, and to teach out of this consciousness. Yeah. And here you see an interview with Rolando, which we did in this one of the studies, because we started the first study. It was an experimental controlled group study in Buenos Aires in Argentina. And here you can follow a little bit his saying. This is his daughter, Veronica Toro.
Dass durch Übungen mit Musik die gesunden Aspekte in jeder Person stimuliert und so die natürliche Harmonie des Organismus stabilisiert.
You see some pictures from the first study in Leipzig also. We repeated this study in Leipzig.
Von Lebenspotenzialen wie Freude, Liebe, Kreativität und Transzendenz. Biodanza gibt es jetzt seit 35 Jahren. Wie ist es entstanden, Rolando?
Biodanza exists since 35 years. How did it happen that Biodanza was created?
Biodanza surgió inicialmente.
Biodanza entstand aus der Erfahrung mit psychisch Kranken im psychiatrischen Krankenhaus.
Biodanza was created with the experience of psychiatric patients in a psychiatric hospital.
Von Santiago de Chile.
In Santiago de Chile.
Mit einer Serie von Übungen versuchten wir Lebensfreude und
With exercises,
bei den Patienten zu stimulieren.
With exercises we tried to increase optimism. This was the most important ability which Biodanza for him developed, because one day I asked him, Rolando, what is the most important finding of our studies for you? And he said, optimism. Because we could prove that people who do Biodanza are more optimistic afterwards. Yes, and for him it was a very important result. And the other result is creativity, because when you develop the expression of creativity, of your creativity, yes, you develop health. Okay, so people who get sick, there is something blocked in the source of the creativity, in the source of the energy of life. Yes, which you can with Biodanza unblock, and people start to experience things in completely different ways. Start to live in completely different way. Start to say goodbye to routines. Yes, to stereotype movements and this kind of things, okay? Because you follow spontaneous movements, you can call it inner voice or intuition, yes, to create your relative truth about life, okay? Because we go in schools where there is a teacher who tells us, or in universities, tell us definitions about life. Yes, our parents tell us how we should live. Yes, later maybe other people tell us, okay, so where is our space where we can find how do I want to live? What has a meaning for my life, and what do I want to do with my life? Okay, so
wir waren erstaunt über die tiefgreifenden Wirkungen, die wir dabei beobachteten.
He was very surprised about the deep effects of the exercise with the patients.
Später haben wir Biodanza auf die Arbeit mit physisch Kranken und Gesunden, mit Studenten und Ärzten ausgeweitet.
Later we expanded this work to medical doctors and also healthy people.
Wer kann Biodanza ausüben?
Who can do Biodanza?
Toda persona puede hacer biodanza, incluso nosotros hacemos biodanza con enfermas.
Alle Menschen können Biodanza ausüben, auch Körperbehinderte in Rollstuhl.
All the people can do Biodanza, also people who go in the wheelchair, yes, old people, young people.
Schwangere, die den Segen haben, ein Kind in sich wachsen zu spüren.
Pregnant women who have the the opportunity to grow a child in their uterus.
Kinder, gesunde Jugendliche,
Children, adolescents, yes. So this is maybe a little touch of Rolando Toro that you see him on this day of Biodanza, yes. What do you think about him? What do you feel about him when you hear this or see this?
He looks like some professor.
Okay.
More serious
than you thought.
Him somewhere else. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very surprising that he's wearing a suit and a tie.
He was often wearing a suit and a tie. Often, yes. When he came to the doctor training, he often wears a suit and tie. Then he changed his clothes to white clothes. He had often white clothes. Yes. Yeah. Somebody else has an impression or feeling?
Seems like a peaceful, gentle man.
Peaceful gentleman, yes.
Yeah, sensitive.
Yes, he's a sensitive man. Okay, let's go to the third example. I brought you another example, which Kate wanted to organize on this day here.
Biodanza Aquatica.
Biodanza Aquatica.
Some people, Marcus, have a look. Who has done Biodanza in the water, warm water? Look, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, great. Yes. What did you feel in the water? How was it for you?
Smooth, very, very smooth.
What did change in the water? What did you realize changed in your life after the experience with the water? The week later, maybe.
Yeah, it's like it connected up things that weren't previously connected inside of me.
Like a connection with everything, yeah? Oh, good. Very good. Yeah, beautiful. Somebody else?
I feel much more relaxed and happier and then more connected.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody else? Okay, similar answers, yes. The point is, if you go in the water, you have to do it in 60.5 degree warm water. You have Fahrenheit here. 36. Yeah, degree. You have Fahrenheit here, yes? But you degrees, okay, good. Otherwise, we would take a long time to put it in Fahrenheit now. With different numbers, I think. Okay. I mean, you know, this energy where we're talking about, which creates everything, yes? We can call it, many disciplines call it different, yes? Some people say that it's the chi energy, some say that it's the prana, some say... We call it, in this theory, what we have created, we call it the energy of conscious, okay? So this energy fluids through your body and creates, okay? It's a creative energy, yeah? And the problem is when you have blockades in the body, yes? For instance, here is a big blockade because you think too much, yes? So that's why we do sometimes exercise in Biodanza of moving the head, yes? Or here are blockades, yes? Because you have fears, it's here, yeah? Or your diaphragm is tensed, yes? So, or here are blockades, yeah? So the energy cannot float really, yeah? But in the water, yes? And other blockades are in the face. This is very important because when you walk through Canberra, how are the people? Are they expressive with the face, or are they more, yeah, more a mask? Yes, okay. So in the face, there's a lot of tension, yeah, and I recommend you exercise every day, yeah. Do like,
You can do it now.
Yeah, do it now. Do it. If you want, you can put your tongue out. If you put on the last, in the last row, okay? Or on the first row, nobody sees except me. Okay? Because this relaxes the face. Can you feel it? Yeah? So because in the face there's a lot of control mechanism. Okay? And when you go in the water, this control mechanism goes away, yeah? And that's why you feel afterwards, this what you said, how you feel. Yeah? What did you say? How did you feel?
I said more connected, relaxed, and happy.
Yes, exactly. And you?
I said I felt like it connected up parts of me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this energy, I mean, if we ask ourselves what love is, yes, we can say in the scientific terms that love is the aggregation, is the energy of aggregation. Okay? Aggregation means that everything comes together, it belongs together. Okay? And in the water, when you teach in the water as a teacher, yeah, you have special music. Yeah? And you can observe, you don't have to do much. Okay? There is a flow which brings everything together. Like the people float, not separated, they float together. Okay? So this is the connection. Yes? So this is love. This is the energy of love which you can see very pure in the water. Yeah? And the love under this perspective is a very important tool for health. Yes? Because if I can give up my protection mechanism in my face, in my shoulders, in my diaphragm, here, okay, I create this energy, okay, and things come together. I open my space, yes, I feel relaxed, okay, and their life is created, okay. So the biocentric approach is how can we put the life in the middle? This means biocentric, okay. So centric and bios is the life, okay. So, and I gave you now, with the help of you, an example how the water can help and the exercise in the water, yeah, to do that. Okay, it's a very subtle, phenomena. Okay, this aggregation. Okay, sometimes you see also when you work in the water, you see the light goes through the water and through the people. Okay, so light is another thing where Orlando Toro was a lot time talking about this biophotons. Yes, the light in the cells, for instance, okay, that this can float without blockades, okay. So I show one exercise where you can maybe see the beautiness. This exercise is called trance suspension, okay, because when you want to go from an anthropocentric space field of possibilities, which means this is the normal conscious we have in the life with the ego in the middle, okay, where we try to control everything by our thoughts, yes, and by our roles which we play in the life, okay, by our mask which we put on and not to be discovered, for instance, okay, our identification with feelings which are already gone, okay. Sometimes we are sad and we say, oh, I can't let it go. Okay, this is the ego. Okay, so to let it go is an activity to enter the biocentric space field of possibilities, because life changes all the time. Okay, but our ego, our mind, unreflected ego, try to hold it, yeah, and try to make it stable. Okay, so in the theory which we have written new, the relative biocentric health theory, we have a biocentric basic assumption about the instability, okay? Because life itself is very unstable. It's normal that we live in unstable moments because life is unstable, okay? Our ego wants to make it stable, yeah? The quote is like this: we have to leave the darkness of stability to go in the light of the instability, okay? What does it mean for our daily life? It means that if we feel and we have a moment of vulnerability or sensibility, we should stop and should be with this moment, okay? Because these are the moments where life arrives in us and wants to create something, a jump. Okay? So the jumps of our development, of our growth, come from the awareness about our instability, about our sensitivity, about our vulnerability when we start to cry, for instance. Yes? So these are the moments where life is created. Okay? Where we enter from a so-called anthropocentric space field, where the ego is in the middle, which try to control everything, to a biocentric space field, where our heart is in the middle. Okay? So this is a way, and of course, this method helps, because as you say in the water, you surrender. Okay? And this exercise is called trance suspension. So here you see the exercise. I shall put a little bit. What happens is that a person is turned from a group. Your brain starts to function like the brain of a baby. So every emotion which is stimulated, it comes out. People start to cry, for instance. People start to feel like babies. People start to feel giving up control over the muscle tension which they normally have, and which is sometimes a dissociation. If you experience a trauma, for instance, your muscle tension becomes very stiff in certain parts of the body, and the trance suspension helps to relax these muscles and to return to your origin, how you was born. And this trance suspension consists certain parts. So the first is this turning clockwise to a wonderful music, to a very suitable music for this exercise. The music plays a big role.
When you observe being spun around, when I was in that position, I felt really relaxed. It didn't feel like I was moving, in fact, which might be surprising because it seems like you're moving quite fast, but it was a very, very deeply relaxing experience.
What he says is very important, because obviously our time perception change. Yes, we work frequently with Biodanza and water, and of course we do research to it, because the research is very important to understand what's going on. For instance, with the time. Okay, sometimes in the morning you have the feeling that the time goes faster, right? And sometimes you have the feeling the time is slow. Yeah? So time is obviously nothing which goes linear, as the classical physics wants to tell us. Okay, that there's a space and there's a time which goes linear because we have a watch. Okay. By the way, the directions of the compass are also made by humans. When you go in space, it doesn't exist. Okay, the directions north, south, west, east. It can be useful when you use your intuition, because then you can find, for instance, words or imaginations for the north or for the south, for the west, for the east. Okay, so the time we did some studies with this kind of exercises. Okay, imagine an exercise goes 90 seconds, 1.5 minutes. Yeah, and we got answers from the subjects of 70% of the subject that when the exercise goes 90 minutes, the feeling of 90 seconds, the feeling of time was 10 or 20 seconds. This is interesting. So the subjective time feeling was shortening so extremely. Yeah? And here begins the thinking what really happens. Okay? And maybe later I can tell you this hypothesis what we developed to understand what really happened when you radically reduce your time imagination. Okay, because let me finish with this. So this exercise also leads to a process which is called reparentalization. Okay, in Biodanza we call it to give us the parents back. Okay, to have a good relationship to our parents, internal, yeah, father and mother. Okay, and I will see if there's a. So this exercise leads to a better reparentalization, yes, which you can maybe see here. We did some research about it.
And what we found by the moment was that the Biodanza Aquatica program changed your perceptive relation to your parents in terms that after the investigated time of Biodanza Aquatica, this were 3 days, you felt less punishment by your mother and higher protection of your father, for instance.
So the second method we use to find out how change the relationship to your parents is a so-called repertory grid technique. It's by American psychologists who can show the hidden attitudes and the networks of attitudes which are hidden in our brain. Okay, so what you see here is before Biodanza Aquatica, we asked the people, and you see that my mother and my father are very near to the attitudes, a bad community, a human without love, and a distant human. Okay, so the question was, how does it change after we are going to the water?
Which means you got another relation to your parents, because part of this program is also to give.
So this is after. Yeah? So if you see here, my father, my mother, yeah? The distance in the bad community is switched away. You switched more to the positive attitudes, like humans with love, near to nature. Yes, you can see friendship is here. Yes, self-love. Okay, so the water and the group interaction and the expansion of conscious, obviously, and this energy of aggregation obviously has an effect in us, yes, to change this relationship to our parents, which is very important. Okay.
And the thing that the guy was measuring devices, yeah? So around here you can see a strap, this was measuring the heart rate too, and on the arm was a device measuring the skin response.
Yes, skin response, and I think I brought one.
You don't normally have those on.
No. When you are a scientist, you have to be very creative, because you saw this big thing, and this is a very interesting story, because I was in Sri Lanka sitting on the sea, and I was thinking, how do I put this device that does not get wet? Okay, because if it gets wet, the data are lost. Okay, so, and in this.
I thought it was a freezer block.
No, and yeah, exactly. In this moment, I was like 2 meters from the sea. In this moment came this kind of styropor. Yes, this kind of white styropor was styropor. Yes, came on the beach, and I said, came just on the beach, and I said, oh wow, that's the thing. So I put it under my arm. I went to the swimming pool. Yes, and then I put then it was going down. I put a water bottle here, a water bottle here. And then the measurement was on the top. So we could measure the muscle tension, we could measure the skin response for the emotional reaction, and we could measure the skin potential for the cognitive reaction, for the thinking. Okay, when you think a lot, when you when you think and you cannot stop thinking, then the skin potential gets high on your skin cell, and then there's created a stress-related hypersensitivity. Okay. So it's very interesting physiology in this context. Well, today is a very special day because we dance, we see us, and this theory gets out of the way, you know. Yes, it's. I worked 5 years on this theory. Okay, it was a hard work every day. I had 2 doctoral students, one in Iran because I'm a member of the university in Tehran. And one in Germany, okay? And today it's get out, and I want to give one to Claudio and to you. It's the proofreading, so there are a lot of mistakes inside. Okay.
We can call it the
No.
birthday, the Australian birthday. Congratulations.
Okay.
It's the day that Marcus yesterday was in the back of the car, like doing the final, checking the
Yeah, because we had.
eyes and everything to send it late last night.
No, because it's get published in a journal, and the colleagues, they said if you don't do it today, we stop it, and I just had to do it. Yeah. Okay, well, let's now please stay relaxed. Okay, don't panic. Yes, we're not talking about this very long, but I have to show you because there's. Yeah, of course.
Because I had a question about the previous.
Yeah, okay, please.
How do you measure the unconscious feelings towards your mother, or this graph? How was it generated from before and after?
Yeah, the laboratory grid technique, you have to read it. It's I can't explain it so plastically now, but we had a computer program. Where we were asking for distances to certain elements which you saw here, and adjectives which belongs to it. So it's a little bit complicated. Okay. So, but in the end, you get this kind of distances to the elements, and for us was important. You can really measure it, like how many centimeter is this, and then you can make a pre-post measurement. But look, repertory grid technique from Kelly.
Okay.
It's very interesting, very old method. It's like from the 70s. But it's very intelligent. Yeah. Okay, this is a theory. Okay, and I show you now a model. Okay, we need to distinguish theory and model. Okay.
That's for the people in the Biodanza school.
Yes.
There is theoretical model doesn't really.
Yeah, separate that. And the reason is because. No, don't panic. It's okay. The reason is because you have to measure the model. This is a model. Okay, so for Claudio it's very nice because it's engineer. He knows. Yes. So it's even in the psychology you can explain a very alive subject with this model is fantastic. So what happened was we started to create this biocentric theory when there was COVID-19. Okay, so COVID-19 was. And 10 days later, we had already a questionnaire how to ask people how they perceive the situation and which consequences the situation have. Okay, and it was fascinating in this time because I was sitting in Germany, and I said, as a scientist, I have the optimal, bless you, I have the optimal conditions to do experiment, optimal, because the whole world was sitting at home. Yes. And if I put now a questionnaire to different countries, also to Australia, yes, I can ask how do they, oh, you smile, you had done the questionnaire, yeah? You ask, thank you very much, really. I was thankful in this moment, I was thankful for every question, because you could understand how people perceive the situation, you know, because everything starts in our perception. Yeah? How do we see the situation? Okay, and you see here that there are unconscious mechanisms and conscious mechanisms. Okay, and I don't want to go far in this model, but I want to explain you that for your health, it's very important that you choose a conscious mechanism of how to do the perception of your life situations. Okay, there starts the biocentric work. Okay, because here you decide, very conscious or unconscious, if you go in an anthropocentric space field, okay, where your ego is active, and this is a completely different way to health, okay, or you go in a biocentric space field where it's more uncertain, of course, but there is a space field of possibility where you can do access with your intuition, okay. So this is a completely different pathway to the health, okay? And where in the center is the intelligence of your heart, okay? So the main question is how to come from here to here, no? And a little tool is that you can ask yourself in every situation what you perceive, you can ask yourself, do I want to evaluate the situation? Do I want to observe the situation without evaluation? Do I want to experience the situation without evaluation? Or do I want to reflect about the situation without evaluation? Okay? Because obviously the evaluation is something which, the first evaluation is something which let us go in this anthropocentric pathway. Anthropocentric means that my ego is in the middle and controls. Okay? And this is an unconscious mechanism. So we need to make it conscious. Okay? We need to make it conscious. And here we are in the quantum psychology because this is the first so-called relative superposition of possibilities we have, which are coherent. It means we cannot see it, but they are there. And because of our conscious and our decision making, for instance, doesn't have to be, there are other possibilities too, yes, we can be conscious about our possibilities and take responsibility for our decision. Okay, so, and this is a superposition, okay? This is a superposition, and we have a lot of superpositions of this, where we can make things conscious, for instance, the senses. How much we use our sense to see, so much in our culture, yeah? But there are other senses which are just coherent in this space field, and we never use it, okay? So it's like a muscle you don't use, yeah? So you have to train this kind of superpositions by pulsating the senses, sometimes to take the hearing, sometimes to take the smelling, sometimes to take the tasting, okay? And put it back, get it out. We call it the pulsation between coherence and decoherence, okay? So we have a lot of superpositions. One is Biodanza, the lines of experience, okay? So in the Vivencia, we train this pulsation between coherence and decoherence. So in somehow this makes the model of Biodanza to a quantum psychological model. Okay. What I want to talk about a little bit is this core, because we will do a Vivencia, we go a little bit to this biocentric core. Okay. The biocentric core is like Tesla. We drive now the car of Tesla. He said one day, he was a genius. He said one day, I ask myself, where is the core? From where all the energy comes from? I can't say where it is, but I know that this exists, this core, okay? And when we wrote this theory, it was like 5 years. Of course, we were in the materialistic world first as a scientist. We were in the autoregulation, we were in the autopoiesis, we were in all these things. We were in the cell, and said, where's the core in the cell, for instance? Okay. So, and then after a while, and this means free thinking, you know, free thinking is a very biocentric process that you not fix thoughts. Okay, so a biocentric theory you have to create with free thinking. Means you have to go in trance, you have to let your thoughts go, yes, and you cannot have any predispositions like what teacher told you. Okay, maybe it comes in your mind, but you have to let it go. Okay, so you work a lot with assumptions which are created in the moment. Okay, this is biocentric thinking. Okay, you not fix the thinking in a definition. This is anthropocentric science. Okay, we have no definition. There's no truth to start with. The relative truth is something which we find in our daily thinking process, where we not fix thoughts. Okay, so we not identify thoughts, because identify thoughts are in the ego. Okay, in the life, it's like a fluid in the emotions, in the thinking, yeah, in the behavior. It's all fluid. Okay, so when Tesla said this, I was thinking with my doctorate. We were thinking really long time, and there was one conversation we had where our brains were like, "Where's the core? Where's the core?" You know, and suddenly someone of us said, "It's the moment. The core is the moment, because in the moment There's everything. Everything. There's the music, there's everything, every information of this biocentric space field, okay? And there's also the feeling of being, okay? Our feeling of being, which is created by a source, which we call in the theory the first uncoursed course, okay? Which is a course that there's no reason why this course is there, but it is there, and from there emanates the energy of conscious. And this energy of conscious is responsible for all manifestations which you can see in this world, okay? Or to all manifestations which we do. So as a teacher, I have to bring the people to the feeling of being, that they can feel their essence, okay? That they can feel the liveliness, what we were talking in the beginning, okay? So the feeling of being related to our theory has two parts. One part is in the body, okay? That you really feel your body and the emotion and everything what is there, the life, okay? But there's another part which is not in the body, because this energy of conscious is not an energy which is related to our body only. It's everywhere. Everywhere is conscious, okay? Because there's not only Rolando Toro who writes about biocentrism. There are also other people, for instance, Lanza and Berman, yes? 2009, they wrote a very important book, what is called Biocentrism, and they say the universe exists because conscious exists, okay? Rolando Toro say the universe exists because life exists, okay? So if you bring these two approaches together, yes, you have a biocentric holism, okay? And you cross somehow the line between the materialistic world and the non-material world, okay? Which in the assumption of duality is the only logic which you can follow, okay? That if you have a feeling of sadness, there's another feeling which you cannot see, okay? So for the applied quantum psychology, it's important that you see the duality of the things, okay? And for the health too. So the access of this is the stillness, that we are still and are sitting, okay? That we listen. Not talking, we listen, okay? We have to listen more what is there, what is, okay? We too much talking. And there is the other movie I brought from Australia, which Kate gave to me, from a First Nation person. I'm sure that you know it. It's Dadiri, yeah? So to sit still and listen is in Biodanza is called intasis, okay? That we take the music, we listen to the music, we move, we let us move. We don't move, we let us move, okay? The music moves us, okay? The inside moves us. We don't have to do anything, yeah? And I think the movie now, this is talking about the same thing, but it's called Dadiri, yes, because this First Nation person explained how life unfolds when we observe and listen, okay? And I want to show this movie in the end, yeah? And then we go into dance, okay? Yeah?
To know me is to breathe with me. To breathe with me is to listen deeply. To listen deeply is to connect. is a sound. The sound of deep calling to deep. Dadidi, the deep inner spring inside us. We call on it, and it calls on us. We are river people. We cannot hurry the river. We need to move with the current and understand its ways. We wait for the rain to fill our rivers and water our thirsty earth. We watch our bush foods and wait for them to open before we gather them. We wait for our young people as they grow. The time for rebirth is now. If our culture is alive and strong and respected, it will grow. It will not die, and our spirit will not die. I believe that the spirit of Dadidi that we have to offer will blossom and grow. Not just within ourselves, but in our whole nation.
Okay. What does it moves in you? This. What has to do with your personal life? Can you talk a little bit about your feelings, about what you feel?
Stillness, deep sense of stillness.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Somebody?
Slowing down.
Hmm?
Slowing down.
Slowing down.
Just listening to your breath.
Okay. Mm.
Also like a reminder to, I think she said there is a well in us or a spring or something. So when we are still, we can, like it calls us, that spoke to me.
Mm-hmm.
So but if I don't quiet down, I can't hear it.
Okay.
That's for me.
The source.
Like the source, like, you know, it was like a reminder for me.
Okay.
Yeah, just a reminder to do that deep listening. I think we're very quick to respond and talk and, yeah.
You are too quick to respond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyday life and work, and we're busy, but we've got to stop and listen.
There's an existential psychologist called Viktor Frankl. He said the freedom is created between the stimulus and the reaction. So we need to make the space, as you say. We react very impulsive, but to wait, patience is one big skill to get access to this biocentric space field of possibilities. Patience. To be patient. Be patient, and the sky is coming to you. Okay. We need to learn patience. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's also that deep respect of the Aboriginal people to, you know, that they are the knowledge holders, and to, there's a lot we can learn from their cultures.
Okay. Somebody else want to say something?
To me, breathing with someone is something that, like, that requires me to be really present.
It's good that you see it. Yeah. The presence is, we all have to work on presence, yes. Because the presence is this biocentric core where the life exists. The only place where the life exists is the presence. Everything else is illusion, you know, about something.
There was also a very important element of connection to nature, and how, you know, as people of river, or if you're on the sea or somewhere else, how you have to go with, you know, you can't rush the river.
You have to go with the river.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
go with the flow.
Yeah.
So it was, again, beautiful for me to capture that connection with the nature where you are.
Yeah, and Wendy said that you have to go slow. Yeah. Also, when you go slow, you can dive deeply. Yes. And for me, something is very important. What we cannot hear, we cannot see, but we can feel, is that every visible comes from the invisible. So we need to go trust the invisible, which we can't see. That there is created what is later visible. Okay, so this is what she's talking about. You know? And I think you're in a great position because you have these great teachers in your country. You know? In Germany, we don't have that. You know? In Latvia, see, there are these old shamans. They have a connection to nature. You know? In Germany too, but it's a very industrial nation, and the old Germans, they are not anymore like they were. Yes. With the burning of the women in the Middle Age, with the mystics in the Catholic Church, which were burned, Meister Eckhart and so on. We burned this, yes, unfortunately. And that's why we need to write this kind of theories that people, gets back. You know, because what we teach in universities is a separation between the subject and the object. Okay, so, and this cannot continue like this. We need the invisible, and when you work with your acupuncture, to trust it. Yes, the energy which we cannot measure is there, for instance. Okay, so I hope with this little presentation I could wake you up a little bit for what is really important in life. Okay, so I would say we do now a break, but you are the master of the ceremony. Yes.
So first I would like to thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
I have the feeling that the many of the things you said is going to be in a day or in a week or in a year that I'm like, you know,
okay.
It's very, very broad, this area that you brought us to
Thank
in
you.
such a nice way. And I also wanted to say that thank you for your courage. I can't imagine what it is to be in the, you know, for those who don't know, we were talking about the history of the Leipzig University where Marcus was working for a long time and had one of your PhD was from there.
No, two.
Both of them from there. It's the first university in the world that psychology was studied. The very first is the origin of the study of psychology in the world. So to come from this deep root of psychology, as you have, you know, and to stay open to the life inside of you, to actually have the courage to speak about the things you're speaking about here that I imagine, you know, cause an uproar in a place like that. But, you know, that deep courage and conviction and aliveness in you,
Thank you.
that you are letting come out in the world and sharing with us.
Thank you, Kate.
So thank you for this.
Thank you. Thank you.
And to all of you, we are the first ones in Australia to hear this theory. We are some of the first ones in the world, and I really thank you. You know, I know it's the end of the day, and maybe you have other things in your mind, but I feel like the energy in the room changed as we went along together on this journey with Marcus, and you know, we were able to receive together, and it was really, I'm very grateful. Thank you for being here. Yeah. So we are back to you to dance. We need maybe a couple of minutes just for the bathroom. Yeah.
And then we